The Honorable Mayor of Tshwane. Now, mayors in South Africa no longer like wearing a maketang, so they just come without the chains. Honorable Mayor, let me greet Deputy Minister Mchunu, MMC Fosun, DG Phillips, Johan Metler, and DG Mate. And then greet you and welcome you to this media briefing. Thank you very much. I just want to state a few things, very few. Number one, that on the 17th of this month, May, this was a day after we delivered our budget speech in Cape Town. Then the following day, the 17th, I met the Mayor of Tshwane, Mayor Brink, in a session that he had been invited to attend together with MM and a number of other people from a number of municipalities in the whole country. They were on a 3-day kind of work that they were doing there. So I was invited as well to make a presentation, a short presentation. On hearing that I was coming, Mayor Brink took an initiative to meet me before time for the presentation, which I agreed to. We met on the sidelines of that workshop. We then had a short chat of about 10 to 15 minutes. But the outcome thereof was that we would have a team or two teams, one from Tshwane, one from DWS meeting, for our meeting. It would be DWS meeting, DWS and Tshwane delegations. Now, I thought we had a bit of a chart in terms of how we would prepare. I said there would be two teams preparing for our meeting. This because there had been history on what Mayor wanted us to discuss, and I seized the moment on my part that if we have such a meeting, it must be meaningful and it must bear fruits. And we agreed. Now, I was quite happy, to be honest, that the Mayor took such an initiative in a situation where I had not been able to meet the Mayor of Tshwane, despite our several attempts to have him working with us. There is a former mayor. Now, that was quite significant. Now, on the 19th, this is 2 days after that meeting, the MEC for Health in Gauteng made some statements to the effect that there's an outbreak of cholera in Namaskar. Now, of course, if you got news like that, your mind would race up and down because of the context. And it would have been a different matter if it was another area, but because it was Hammaskral, it suddenly gave you a specific context, and you started thinking and linking things that it might be an outbreak flowing from the situation there, whatever it is, whatever the cause of cholera would be. Now, we then brought back our meeting or our processes to say we can no longer wait for 2 weeks until our officials meet and deal with everything. And we agreed with the mayor that the situation has become very urgent, has become very serious, and we need to meet. I think we had something like 24 hours to organize our meeting. And we agreed to a meeting, and we held that meeting. That is the meeting at the end of which you were invited. And in our briefing, we gave you the outcome of our meeting, a very brief outcome, saying we had met and that a presentation had been made, which was a joint presentation from our officials, DWS and Tshwane, which was a concept document sizing up the problem and beginning to indicate how the problem could be resolved, and indicating the resources that might be required, and also indicating the model that might be required for that particular purpose. We endorsed the presentation in principle and pointed at a few matters that needed to be refined, and so that we could be sure that when we come out to the public, we will know what we're talking about. Officials have gone out, led by DG and Matla. They have done exactly what we asked them to do. Reviewed the document, put more concrete proposals on the document, brought in some finality on some of the issues that were loose at that time. Parallel to that, I had a meeting with my counterpart, or no, my colleague in Human Settlement, Minister Kupai Ngubane, and our meeting went very well with a positive outcome. DG had a meeting with Finance, together with Metla. Afterwards, they will brief us about that. Now, where we are, we ended up with a meeting yesterday in the evening. All of us sit at the front here. We were now getting a final presentation from the team, the technical team. We expressed satisfaction, and speaking for myself and the department, the DMs and all of us, we expressed satisfaction that it provides a concrete platform from which we can now work. Of course, we're not talking about a perfect document, but concrete enough. We're talking about a document that gives us a concrete platform from which we can now embark on specific things going forward to fix the problem that is out there. They will speak for themselves on this matter. But as I end, I want to take this opportunity and once more say the new development in Tshwane, where the mayor is willingly wanting to work and actually now working in a spirit of cooperation with us has made it easy, or rather has made it possible for us to gather like this and found what I think are initial concrete solutions to the problem in Rooiwal, and possibly will open other possibilities going on or going forward. We welcome this new development and this spirit. It is the kind of spirit that even the United Nations is calling for, that we need cooperation in water, in both management of water resources and in management of water services. We must agree that water would run across borders, sometimes through borders of 3-4 countries. And that alone means that water is able to bring people together, and they should welcome that. And water as water is more of a service to the people in the world, and in this instance to the people in Tshwane and people in South Africa, more than a political matter. It's more of a service, I want to repeat that, to the people by government across the spheres, by government across the spheres and other role players, including in the academic world, NGOs and specialists and experts. And therefore, if we agree to work together in that way, I think South Africa's problems or challenges in water will be overcome quicker than later. And indeed, if it were not for the deaths that have taken place in Namaskar, 23 of them, I would have said I'm quite happy that we're getting to this journey, DWS and so on. And it offers us great lessons in terms of how we should approach things in future. And indeed, the future looks tougher in water and sanitation than we have seen before. And therefore, in order for us to be able to move faster and catch up with the deficits that we foresee and that we're seeing, we need this kind of spirit. And there's no problem that we will fail or will be unable to resolve. I want to stop there and invite the Honorable Mayor to make his statements, after which DG and MM will give us a high-level summary of how we are going to move forward from here, giving you the model, giving you the time frame, and the kind of funding that is necessary to deal with this situation. Thank you very much. Honorable Mayor.
Thanks very much, Minister, and I do want to thank you for your remarks and the way that you have assisted us with this issue. I'm just going to allow these things to be done. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry, man. I should have foreseen this.
There we go. No, that's all right. So, thanks very much. I have found my interactions with the Minister to be collegial, to be supportive, and indeed, as the Minister discussed it, I reached out to him and said, in essence, the problem that we have with the quality of Hammanskraal water is that the Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant has reached its capacity, and we don't have the money or the expertise to fix it quick enough. In that was an important admission that it's a problem that has come almost 2 decades, and with every year the population of Hammanskraal grows. With every year the infrastructure deteriorates. But importantly, there was also mismanagement at Rooiwal, which has to be faced. If we don't face that, and if we don't change that, we'll simply repeat the mistakes of the past. There were also various instances of tender irregularities, which had the effect of making what now needs to be done more complicated and more expensive. But that's the past. We must now take responsibility for a better future. What we will be announcing today is, in essence, a partnership to get the money and the expertise to upgrade Rooiwal, and to do so in a way that avoids the delays, the irregularities, the wastage of the past. We do so, again, in partnership also with the Development Bank of Southern Africa, and I'll leave the details to the Director General and the City Manager to expound here. But Tshwane is contributing 450 million. Our budget was approved yesterday with 155 votes. That allocation will stretch over the next 3 financial years. It's not enough to upgrade Rooiwal. We need external funding, and that's where this partnership is crucial. At the same time, as the work commences, and again the details will be disclosed in a moment's time, we have to take temporary measures to relieve the situation, because there are thousands of households presently relying on water tankers as a semi-permanent source of potable water. That's a terrible control environment, open to abuse and exploitation, and very expensive for the people of Tshwane as a whole. So the temporary measures must be taken, and we'll be very careful in our promises to the people, but the commitment is clear. And as will be explained, the DBSA will be the implementing agent for the upgrades at Rooiwal. This is very important because, as I've mentioned, the city lacks the expertise, the funding to do this by ourselves. A lot of work needs to be done in Tshwane to clean up our supply chain management system. Got to be very candid about that. But this agreement, the details will be clarified, will allow us to partner with the DBSA, with water and sanitation playing an important monitoring and supporting role. And of course, we must make sure that public money is spent in a way that is cost-effective, competitive, whoever spends that money. And of course, that no person or company implicated in state capture is allowed to come close to this money or to derail this project. So I think today is an important development. Many things can go wrong still on the road, of course, but as the Minister has indicated, this is a united front. We're committed to cooperating, to supporting each other, and to restoring a measure of trust with the public. Because if we are fighting with each other, it undermines the legitimacy of our entire system of government. It signals to outside funders and investors that between us we haven't got our houses in order, we haven't got our relationship in order. And so this agreement is an important signal, it's an important first step of restoring the trust and eventually getting the quality of Hammanskraal water on a constitutional standard. Thanks very much, Minister.
Thank you very much. Please shift these mics to the DG so that you can be heard clearly. If you could assist, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister and Mayor, and good morning to members of the media. I'd like to first start by just explaining that the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works is polluting the Arpies River, which flows into the Lucral Dam, from which water is abstracted by the city's Temba water treatment works. And that water treatment works is supposed to clean the raw water that's abstracted from the dam so that it's fit for human consumption. But the pollution from the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works is so heavy and has been going on for so long that the water in the dam is now so polluted that the Temba water treatment works is not able to treat the water such that it meets the required standards for drinking water. We have estimated, both the city and ourselves, that the cost of a full rehabilitation and upgrade of the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works is in the region of 4 billion rand. But the project can be implemented in stages with an emphasis on work to stop or reduce the pollution into the Arpies River from Rooiwal in the early stages. The detail that I'm going to be talking to about how we're going to implement the project jointly as a partnership are in the media statement that is going to be released. Since the last media conference, as indicated by the Minister, we have had engagements between ourselves, the City and National Treasury, and it has been agreed that there is a need to secure funding to fully fix and upgrade the wastewater treatment works. We have formed a financial team between us to work together with the DBSA to develop a financing plan which identifies the optimal financial structuring for the project. Options being considered, including sourcing funds from other grants and DBSA loan and bridging finance, amongst other options. The project will start in the meantime using the allocation which has been made from Tshwane's USDG grant. That's the Urban Settlements Development Grant, which is under the Department of Human Settlements. That allocation, which, as the Mayor indicated, was approved by Council yesterday or the day before, will possibly be supplemented by a DBSA loan or bridging finance. We have started the process of appointing the DBSA as the implementing agent for the project. Perhaps if I can just explain here, the DBSA could potentially have several roles in this project. We are discussing with the DBSA a DBSA role in the financing of the project through loan or bridging finance. And we are also appointing the DBSA as the implementing agent. The DBSA has an implementing agent unit, a special unit in the DBSA which provides a service to government to assist government to implement infrastructure projects of this nature. And we are in the process of appointing that unit in the DBSA as the implementing agent for this whole project, which means that the city will transfer money to the DBSA, and the DBSA will run the procurement processes and appoint the necessary engineering design companies and the necessary contractors to do the work. We are also working together between our technical people in the department and the technical people in the city to develop detailed technical plans for the repairs and upgrades, including scoping the project stages and tender specifications for the first stage. As indicated by the Mayor, the project is going to have short-term interventions and, in the medium term, the repair and upgrading of the Rooiwal wastewater works. It is a huge project and it can't be done overnight. But in the short term, we are going to install improved wastewater technology in the Rooiwal wastewater treatment technology in the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works to improve the way in which the works treats the sewage and to increase the quality of the discharged effluent which goes into the Arpies River. This will reduce the levels of E. coli from the treated sewage water from the Rooiwal plant that is released into the Arpies River. That will be done according to our plans between August this year and March 2024. Secondly, in order to improve drinking water provision to the residents of Hammanskraal, Magalies Water, which is a water board under the Department of Water and Sanitation, will install a portable water treatment plant, which is also known as a package plant, at its Klipdrift water treatment works near Hammanskraal. This will produce 30 to 40 megalitres per day of treated drinking water, which will be fed into the Hammanskraal piped water distribution system. There is already an existing connection between the Klipdrift water treatment works and the piped water distribution system in Hammanskraal. The package plant itself will also be implemented in stages, with 10 megalitres per day being capacity being installed at a time to get up to the 30 to 40 megalitres capacity. Magalies Water is planned to start installing this plant from July this year and to complete installing the plant by March 2024. By the time it is complete, this package plant will provide sufficient drinking water to supply the residents of Hammanskraal with drinking water from their taps. And at that time, when the package plant is complete, the city will be in a position to be able to stop supplying residents with water from the Temba water treatment works and rather supply them with water from the package plant until the quality of water from the Temba treatment works meets drinkable standards again. The supply of drinking water from the Magalies Water package plant will also enable the city to stop supplying water using water tankers at that point when the package plant is fully established. However, in the meantime, the city will have to continue to provide the residents with drinking water through water tanker services which collect water at designated water filling points. This will be accompanied with regular testing of the water that is being provided by the tankers. The city will be engaging with community structures in Hammanskraal to request community structures to assist the city to monitor that the water tankers are drawing water from the correct sources and that the testing on the water put into the water tankers is done regularly. Turning to the actual repair and upgrading of the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works, it will be done in 3 phases. The first phase will be to complete the repair project which was started by the city a couple of years ago and which is currently standing at 68% completion. The result of this repair work will be improved quality of effluent from the works. This phase is planned to start in September this year and to end in November 2024. The second phase will involve the upgrading of the plant's treatment capacity by 50 megalitres of wastewater per day, coupled with desilting of sludge at the Leeukraal Dam. The desilting of the sludge at the dam will enable the Temba water treatment works to function better and to produce drinking water which meets minimum standards. This phase is planned to start in October 2024 and to end in June 2025. The third phase will involve adding a further 80 megalitres per day of capacity to the plant. The current capacity of the plant is 250 megalitres per day. After phase 2 and phase 3, it will improve to a capacity of 380 megalitres per day. This will be sufficient to treat the current and future projected wastewater load in Hammanskraal. The third phase is planned to start in July 2024 and to end in June 2026. So in all, we're talking about a construction period of 3 years, roughly, with work starting in September 2023 and the third phase being completed in June 2026. So in summary and conclusion, the installation of the package plant by Magalies Water will result in the residents of Hammanskraal having piped drinking water by March 2024. In the meantime, residents will continue to be supplied with drinking water from tankers with strict monitoring and controls. Short-term measures will also be taken to reduce the pollution of the Arpies River by the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works. The repair and upgrading of the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works will result in the Temba water treatment works being able to provide drinking water which meets the required standards by June 2026, which then can then replace the water from the packaged plant. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, DG. The Municipal Manager would like to add. For opportunity to pose any questions that you may have to the panel in front. I'm going to invite 5 questions on the floor. We also have those that are following us virtually. So the first 5 will be taken from the floor, and after that, the leadership will respond. We're going to take the questions that will be coming from the virtual platform that will be read by my colleague. When you want to ask a question, please introduce yourself and the organization you are coming from, and also indicate whom the question is directed to. We can start. Thank you. The microphone.
Thank you, Aviwem Tila. Just clarity. I know the mayor mentioned the 450 million rand that will be coming from the city of Tshwane, and the DG mentioned 4 billion that's needed. I just want to know where the rest of the money might come from. Maybe that was covered. I just need more clarity on it. And I understand there were tender irregularities that were mentioned to the state of the actual Rooival water treatment plant in getting there. Maybe more clarity as well on that. What tenders and what was it corruption? More transparency on that. And maybe lastly, I know the Blue Drop certificate is to be released on Tuesday. I understand it's supposed to be released yearly. Maybe we're going to have feedback on the previous certificates and the quality, of the situation and what has been done, given that it was supposed to be released every year. Thank you.
Cholera. Could you maybe get projection for the completion of the project to 2026? This will obviously be going through the national. A change in administration.
Does that mean they're going to take over all SEM processes, or will some of that be down to the municipality? I just want to get clarity on that. Thank you.
The last one, are you still going to ask questions? Thank you. I'm going to provide the minister to lead in terms of response.
issue of corruption. The issue of the